Hey, what up, guys? This is Crypto Twins coming back at you, and I've been kind of saying this to my friends that I was gonna take this page into a little bit different of a direction, and this is gonna be one of the first installments. This installment here, what we're gonna touch in on is more of the geopolitical, geo-economic reasons why the blockchain technology is emerging, and why you're going to see trillions of dollars flow into this market. Now, we talk about the $600 billion market cap currently, and if you watch someone like Crypto for the People, he likes to show you the capitalization in all the different areas like the equities, real estate, stock market, and how many trillions of dollars are flowing through like derivatives and things of that nature. And talk about how, look, a lot of those monies are going to flow into these cryptocurrency markets. What I want to go into is why. Currently, what you have going on and what you've been having happening for the past really, 5 to 10 years is a economic shift. All right, an economic shift from west to east. Why? I want you to look at this chart real quick, and I got several things pulled up. The main thing that we want to see is the main thing that's driving economies is oil. That's why oil is a root of a lot of wars. That's why the Middle East is constantly a hotbed. Why? Because the oil that comes out of the Middle East is high-grade oil that you can use for large-scale manufacturing, building, jet fuels, just major technology, man. You need energy. You need the ability to move, transport, and create. And oil allows you to do that. Now, right here on this, it says below are the 15 countries that imported the highest dollar value worth of crude oil during 2016. China recently has become number one in $116.2 billion of crude oil imports. The United States right after, then India, Japan, South Korea, Netherlands, Germany, and then, Italy, Spain, France, Thailand, Singapore, the UK, Taiwan, and Belgium. Okay, so you have a heavy influence of these Eastern nations along with Europe, and then you have United States sitting up there at number 2. What China is doing, because they are the number one buyers in oil now, they are able to create different trade deals. They want their currency to be the number one currency, or to have more strength within the economy versus the US dollar. Basically, when you look at international trade, you have to understand how things work. I'm not going to go completely into this, but I want you guys to look this up that haven't looked this up. Look up the SWIFT banking system. SWIFT stands for Society of Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. Okay? A lot of people talk about this system. This system allows banks to communicate, or financial institutions to communicate and execute financial contracts between each other. A lot of times when the U.S. or the East wants to put sanctions on the country, they do it through the SWIFT system. They are able to shut down your interbank financial communications, okay, through this system. All right. You also have the Bank of International Settlements. You can look that up. Okay. History. SWIFT was founded in Brussels in 1973 under the leadership of its inaugural CEO, Carl Rudeskoit, and was supported by 239 banks in 15 countries. It started to establish common standards for financial transactions and a shared data processing system and worldwide communications network designed by Logica. Fundamental operating procedures, rules for liability, etc. were established in 1975, and the first message was sent in 1977. SWIFT's first United States operating center was inaugurated by Governor John N. Dalton in Virginia in 1979. SWIFT has become the industry standard for syntax in financial messages. Messages formatted to SWIFT standards can be read by and processed by many well-known financial processing systems, blah 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 blah. You guys can read through that. Okay. I want to go back to the top. Here it says the majority of the international interbank messages use Swift network. Use the Swift network. As of 2015, Swift linked more than 11,000 financial institutions in more than 200 countries and territories who were exchanging on average over 15 million messages per day compared to an average of 2.4 million daily messages in 95. Swift transports financial messages in a highly secure way, but does not hold accounts for its members and does not perform any of the clearing or settlements. All right. So this communication system allows for interbank networking to be controlled. Okay. Now you can go to the Bank of International. I don't know if I'm spelling this right. We're winging it. Let's go. Boom. Bank of International Settlements. Let's just hit Wikipedia just to keep it simple for everybody. The Bank of International Settlements is an international financial institution owned by central banks, which fosters international monetary and financial cooperation and serves as a bank for central banks. The BIS carries out its work through its meetings, programs, and through Basel process, hosting international groups pursuing global financial stability and facilitating their interaction. It also provides banking services, but only to central banks and other international organizations. Okay, it's based in Basel, Switzerland, with representative office in Hong Kong and Mexico City. Okay, so when you look at how trade works, and you look at this map, these are all the major nations that are basically moving goods and services all throughout the planet. Okay? What I'm telling you is that this way is changing. Okay? In order for China to have a major foothold, in order for it to be able to execute a lot of contracts, it's going to have to learn how to work outside this system. And that's what we're seeing being built. That's what we're seeing being built. Okay? If it plays, it plays. If not, whatever. I'm just going to read. It says, U.S. war with Russia and China more likely as world power shifts from west to east, NATO says. This was written November 17, 2017. It says, a top NATO official has warned of a shift in global military strength from the Western military alliance to China and Russia, a move he said would make a global conflict more likely. In an address to the Atlantic Council, a NATO-affiliated think tank, NATO Supreme Allied Commander Transformation General Dennis Mercier reportedly said Thursday that the risk for a major interstate conflict has increased as non-Western powers, especially Russia and China, rock the U.S.-led balance of power with their own push for greater military and economic clout. Both countries have undergone significant campaigns to revamp and modernize their forces, unsettling the transatlantic coalition. It says, China is leveraging its economic power to increase defense spending as a foundation of growing global power strategy, Mercier said, according to The Hill. The neighboring India, we saw India on the top of this list, right? We saw India on the top of the list as one of the top importer, right? Number 3, right? Okay? These things are happening right now. It says the neighboring India is following the same path and could reach a comparable status in the medium term. At the same time, Russia is resurfacing with the will to become a major power again, challenging the established order in the former Soviet space, he added. Okay, so now you see Russia making power plays over in Syria, making sure that the U.S. isn't able to manipulate and control trade in throughout Syria. Okay, you seeing them kicking ISIS out, which those of you that in this crypto space that are more free-minded, you understand that ISIS was a proxy army created by the West. You know, it doesn't shake your boots too much to understand that power moves have to be played. Okay, now we'll look at Turkish. let's see, Turkish stream pipeline. All right, so you look at this, these pipeline deals, these opposing pipeline deals. You got the Russian-backed Iran, Iraq, Syria pipeline here in red. All right, and then you also have the what's called the Turkish stream pipeline that's going to flow here through the Black Sea. That's why Russia had to make sure to secure Damascus and secure these areas. That's why when you look over here in Mosul, the Euphrates River that's cutting through here, these lands here, they had to get ISIS up out of here and control these lands. Okay? Okay? That's why you see now the state of Israel trying to say that Lebanon is a threat. Okay? Because they want to be able to control these regions. If they create a regional war here, they'll be able to take this Golan Heights regions, maybe even take Damascus at the same time, and then they'll be able to execute a pipeline deal. That's why they, if you guys remember the sanctions that was put on Qatar, because the U.S. is trying to control Qatar so they can do their own pipelines and circumvent oil imports and oil exports from the Middle East into Europe. Why? Because look at Europe. Look, okay? Look, Netherlands, Germany, Italy, Spain, France, United Kingdom, Belgium. If you can control those imports, you can control a major amount of revenue that's being generated globally. And if you can keep it US backed, if you can keep the petrodollar, then the US can keep its hegemony over the world. China, Russia, Iran, these other nations, now that they're more developed and they're starting to buy more oil, they're building up because all the manufacturing has moved to these nations. They're making power moves. So if they do, if China, if Russia, if Iran are able to be successful, how are they going to be able to execute these things when currently they have to go through the SWIFT, the Bank of International Settlement System? How are they going to execute these contracts? How are they going to be able to do it? Well, they're going to be able to do it through cryptocurrency, man. Okay? So you got China making a move. You got China making a move called the New Silk Road Economic Belt. Okay? This is going to be a group of maritime sea trading routes and routes over with rail that'll be able to import goods. And you know they're gonna need them oil imports in order to do this. How they gonna move all these ships? How they gonna move all of the train? They're gonna need fuel. They're gonna need energy to do all this. So they're changing their economic system. And I'm telling you, this is why Trump is over there in China with Xi Jinping. This is why he's doing all these moves, because he's trying to figure out, okay, what the hell are we gonna do? Okay. This new Silk Road Economic Belt, the infrastructure is pretty much built. Okay, they just need a few technical things to lay down, and then they're going to get this thing popping. 2018 is going to be a very revolutionary year geopolitically and geoeconomically. And blockchain technology is going to go right along with them. That's how they're going to execute all of the contracts in between all these nations. It's going to make it easier, faster. Outside the dollar, outside the SWIFT system, you can't put sanctions on us. You can't hold us back. This is what we're going to do. You're going to have to figure it out. You're going to have to come along. Okay? This is what's happening. This is why Japan, China, Taiwan, Indonesia, okay, the Philippines. This is why even these European nations, all these nations are flowing money. Thailand, Singapore, you guys see this stuff in these ICOs. India, you guys see this stuff in the cryptocurrency world. Where is it thriving out of? It's thriving out of the East. Why? Because they're preparing, man. They understand that the blockchain technology is going to be emerging. And you see how they hired in the top 15? They got bread, hella money. And they're getting ready to flow into these markets, okay? I hope I'm not going too fast, but I just want to hit a few of these things. I don't want to take too long. You guys can look up some of this information yourself, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to refresh this page here. It pulls up, it pulls up. This right here says, despite Trump's efforts, economic power will continue to shift to Asia in 2017. Okay. Last month, when was this written? When was this written? Can't see. I don't know. I don't see any date on this. This is on quartz.com by Lee Kuan Yew. Okay. It says, last month it was a cooling manufacturer. This month it's the automakers. Thus far, the president has made good on his campaign pledges to target companies that source their labor overseas. Mr. Trump has long proclaimed that he wants to halt offshoring by renegotiating unfair trade deals and pressuring U.S.-based firms to repatriate their foreign operations and, more importantly, foreign jobs back to the States. It would be convenient to dismiss much of this as political posturing. The Trump campaign was not alone in assigning blame to globalism, nor was it the first to. Politicians for both parties tend to demonize trade deals rather than peddle their benefits. And despite the highly touted reversals by companies like Carrier and Ford, few would characterize a company-by-company shakedown as an effective way of weakening the forces of global trade. Still, the bluster underscores a more concerning anti-global sentiment. Hold on. It says, in the wake of Brexit, a seeding European nationalism in the U.S. elections, much has been written about populism's threat to global trade growth and the international economic institution. Now, you guys can look that word up and you'll see how you'll have this nationalistic point of view versus this globalism point of view, and how Trump represents this populist nationalist idea, when really he doesn't. Really, in the back end, he's really doing more global trade deals. Okay, but this whole idea of globalism, okay, is what's being pushed as a problem for the U.S. economy, which it is. It says, global trade growth and the international economic institutions established after the Second World War. There are a number of explanations for the turn inward. Many have blamed growing economic inequality within developed economies. Some blame outsourcing or technological transition, talking about how people have outsourced. Like, I know I have my marketing company. They make all their products in China. All their stuff is made in China. You know what I mean? Because it's way cheaper. They can mass produce it, and then they can make hell of a profit. It's a no-brainer. Okay? Same thing with all these apps. When people make apps, they outsource all that to China. So people are outsourcing their manufacturing. People are outsourcing technological software stuff to the East. Okay? Emerging countries combined GDP as a share of G7 GDP. Look at that. Okay. It says, Mabubani and Quad proposed that the shift in power, including purchasing power, away from richer nations to emerging economies in East Asia is an unsettling idea for citizens in developed nations. Okay? Basically, you know, you can read through this if you want to, but, you know, there's an economic shift that's happening. Okay? We see it. Okay? Now, I'm just going to read a couple headlines. Russia may turn to oil-backed cryptocurrency to challenge sanctions and the petrodollar. All right. It says the gradual acceptance of digital currencies with major exchanges about to launch Bitcoin futures trading may prompt some oil-producing nations to ditch the U.S. dollar in crude trade in favor of cryptocurrencies, an oil analyst says. All three, it says Russia, Iran, and Venezuela have more than one thing in common. All three are major oil-producing nations dependent on the dollar, since the global crude market is traditionally dominated by contracts denominated in U.S. currency. Moscow, Tehran, and Caracas are also facing U.S. sanctions. And those sanctions is what's crippling these economies. People talk about socialism is what's crippling the Venezuelan economy. No, it's not. The U.S. have stopped them from being able to move their money, from being able to sell and trade. Okay. It says penalties which are proven effective since the sanctioned countries are dependent on the U.S. dollar to sell their crude. See? The decentralized currency allowing anonymous transactions along the blockchain technology support to facilitate oil contracts may be the ideal tool to allow the oil-producing trio to turn their backs on the greenback. Okay? The advent of cryptocurrencies, therefore, represent a fresh catalyst for commodity-producing countries like Brazil, like China, like Venezuela, okay? All these other nations, India, okay? You can go, the list goes on and on and on. Even like Ethiopia, Nigeria, okay? Tons of places, okay? It says countries wishing to abandon the dollar as a means of payment for oil, okay? So it's a catalyst for commodity-producing countries wishing to abandon the dollar as a means of payment for oil, okay? All right. This is showing how last week Venezuela announced it will launch its own cryptocurrency, the Petro, which will be backed by the country's vast natural resource reserves. Okay? So this is one example why money is just going to continue to flow into the blockchain. Okay? Now I want you to check this out. We talked about this New Silk Road economic belt. Okay? Now, you go to this, it says the Belt and Road Blockchain Consortium. One belt, one road, one chain. Check this out. Internet plus blockchain EID dispute resolution governance. Legal, it says powered by the Digital Belt and Road blockchain and under Hong Kong's Electronic Transaction Ordinance. The consortium facilitates transnational digitization of trade facilitation and financial services by reducing the cost of resolving cross-border electronic identity disputes along the Belt and Road. Identity. EID, Public Certification Authority, and Self-Sovereign Identity Dispute Resolution under the Belt and Road Initiative are user-signed EID requirement. Standards are designed to be compatible with the 2006 UN Critical Model Law. Okay, governance. A Hong Kong initiated open, inclusive, and bottom-up ICANN-like governance structure for the internet plus blockchain digitized trade services. This is what they want to do, bro. This is what they want to do. As part of the Smart Contracts Initiative, on the 28th July 2016 at the Blockchain Strategies for Business Conference, the consortium's founder and chief architect Pindar Wong made an open call for participation to form an ICANN-like body to facilitate the digitization of trade along the 65 Belt and Road economies. Monthly meetings are held in Hong Kong on the last Thursday of each month. As 1/3 of the Belt and Road economies follow the Muslim faith, the first application of our electronic ID dispute resolution process is to provide Sharia-compliant provenance for the trading of halal products along the Belt and Road. Bro, so they're already preparing this, man. Okay? They're preparing to be able to trade and execute these contracts along the blockchain. Okay? Hong Kong official touts blockchain for China's Belt and Road plan. November 14, 2017. A senior official for the government of Hong Kong. This is on your Coindesk.com. Okay? A senior official for the government of Hong Kong has said blockchain could bolster China's ongoing efforts to significantly expand its trade capabilities. According to Chinese news service, Kaiying, it says James Law, Hong Kong's Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury touted the technology during a forum appearing on Friday. Lau said the blockchain could bring great benefits to nations participating in President Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative, citing a forthcoming trade finance platform to be built on the tech. It was only several weeks ago that Hong Kong unveiled a new partnership with Singapore that will see the development of a new platform also utilizing blockchain. The goal of that initiative is to shift away from a largely paper-based process to one that moves the trade finance industry into the digital era. That blockchain might find its way to being used in conjunction with the Belt and Road project is notable given its scale and reach. The project, unveiled in 2013, aims to connect regions across the South Pacific, Africa, Northern European, and Russia, encompassing dozens of countries. Also focusing on blockchain, Hong Kong's monetary authority completed a proof of concept for trade finance in March, which included the Bank of China, and HSBC as participants. You see that, Neo? That's the sound of your death. That's the sound of inevitability. It's inevitable. It's coming. Okay? It's coming. Alright? This is why the blockchain is increasing. This One Belt, One Road system that's being rolled out it's changing trade boundaries. It's got the U.S. and the West in the state of Israel right now, all in a fervor. Okay? And that's why I said blockchain will make people go to war. Okay? Because you're messing with people's money. You're messing with people's money, you're messing with their food. Take a man food, he ready to fight. That's what's happening. Okay? Last one I'm going to read. Alright, this is an article, Think by Brian Tam. Alright. I guess this is his little blog. November 21st, 2017. An investigation of how the adoption of blockchain and the One Belt, One Road initiative will impact China's economy. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you should go through it. Okay? You should definitely go through it. Okay? It says, in this era of rapid technological advancements, traditional methods of transactions and economic activity have been substituted by easier and faster alternatives. In the 90s, we have witnessed how the internet has transformed the economy by digitizing trade and creating new online business platforms. Today, we have new financial technologies which have the capability of restructuring the way individuals, firms, and governments operate. The increasing publicity of Bitcoin has drawn more attention to the technology powering behind it, blockchain. Whilst Bitcoin's future may be misty, the future of blockchain is clear and optimistic, where 91% of banks are predicted to invest into blockchain. 91% of banks are predicted to invest into blockchain. Bro. It says the key feature of blockchain, namely lowering transaction costs, ensuring trust, and streamlining all economic procedures, can be adopted to complement the key ideas of China's One Belt, One Road initiative, a project linking Asia with Europe and Africa. The sheer scale of this project not only creates more opportunities for business and growth, but also more complications in financial transactions and production change. Blockchain's key features are designed to tackle these problems. All right, so if you got billion dollar industries spending, hundreds of millions on transaction costs, money's getting hung up in different banks and issues that's happening globally, and you can eliminate that through the blockchain and save your company hundreds of millions a year, like that. Hello, No brainer. Okay? It's an inevitability. Okay? Now it talks about what blockchain is. You guys can read all that nerdy stuff. This is one part that I will read. Importantly, blockchain must not be confused with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency operating with technology of blockchain, and is only one of many functions which blockchain has. Blockchain can be used to send across anything with value, and is not only limited to cryptocurrencies. It can send contracts, documents, data, etc. Blockchain's main features lie in its ability to lower transaction costs, impose smart contracts, and ensure security and privacy within a ledger. About the One Belt, One Road Initiative. Proposed by President Xi, the One Belt, One Road Initiative, OBOR, refers to the Silk Road economic belt and the 21st century maritime silk toad. I don't know if that's been told. Yeah. The project promotes mobility and encourages economic cooperation between countries in Europe, Asia, and Africa, and by doing so, enhances the free flow of economic factors, market integration, and allocation of resources. With the core theme being integration, the OBOR project focuses on 5 areas: policy coordination, facilities connectivity, unimpeded trade, financial integration, and people-to-people bonds, ultimately encouraging economic integration by building new infrastructure, cross-national political cooperation, and developing new financial technologies. Okay? So this is why you're going to see these systems increase, bro. Okay? Let's watch this. The US and China are the world's 2 largest economies. In 2016, the US was in possession of 24% of the world's gross domestic product. China, however, has overtaken the US economy in purchasing power parity. China's economy is growing 3 times faster than the US economy, with the Asian nation expected to become the world's largest economy by 2029. In order to do this, China is looking to diversify its manufacturing-based economy. Growing demand for higher education, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's competition happening within the global markets, and China is going to use these new technologies to advance itself. So I just wanted to kind of touch in on these things to show you kind of some of the geopolitical and geoeconomic reasons why blockchain technology is skyrocketing right now, and how blockchain itself is not going anywhere. So when you look at these different currencies that are doing all these different services across the blockchain, you're going to just see them go up, okay? They're going to go up, down, down, and it's just going to keep going. We're just getting started, man. Once these banks are starting to link in, people are starting to wake up. We're just getting started, bro. Okay? Ain't nothing new under the sun. So, I just wanted to touch in on that, man. Hopefully, you know, that helps guys kind of know a few things. I'm going to touch in on a few more things as we go along. And, hey, man. Eat.